Welcome to the Real Life Wellness Podcast, the show where we explore how to create your own wellness. We dive into everything that happens on the journey to a happier, healthier, and more balanced life. I'm your host, Faith Lauterbach. As a registered nurse and a holistic wellness coach, I have a passion for empowering people to create a vision for their life, prioritize themselves, and then live the life they want. So get ready to discover new ways to nourish your body, mind, and spirit. Let's embark on this journey together and make wellness simple. Hello, and welcome back to the Real Life Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Faith Lauterbach. I'm a registered nurse and a holistic health and wellness coach, and I'm looking to help you make wellness simple. If you missed my first episode, go ahead and give that a listen after you listen to this one. It's all about creating a morning routine and changing your life by that one simple act. It's really powerful, and I'd love to hear your thoughts after you listen to it. All right, so let's get into what I want to talk about today, which is 2024, welcoming this new year. And the start of a new year can bring a lot of emotions and feelings. I'm curious, what are yours as you move through this first week of 2024? I used to be a big believer in New Year's resolutions. You know, it was like, okay, you got to get those in, you got to know what you want. But there was something about New Year's resolutions that always ended up with me feeling frustrated, disappointed in myself, like I was constantly failing. They just really began feeling very harsh to me. And it just kind of got old to feel that way all the time. But I know I also feel less overwhelmed when I have some sort of structure and a plan. So what I've done has evolved over time. And what feels really good right now is creating a word of the year. So a word of the year can give you a framework for decision making instead of just the tasks and to-dos that resolutions can give. Picking a word to encompass like a bigger picture of how you want to feel, you can use it as your compass to guide your decisions. And there's no failing with a word of the year. So then thinking next of what word you want to pick. How do you pick this word that will be the compass for your year? And I will say, I have been doing this for the last, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. What is this? Going on 6 years, I think, if I did the math right. My first word of the year was in 2018. And I will tell you, it was after having a really challenging end to 2017. As I shifted to the next year, I felt like I needed something more than just resolutions. I needed something that felt like it was honoring a new phase of my life. I needed something that I could fall back on that felt supportive and comforting to me. That's when I learned about a word of the year, and so that's when I started, 2018. And how did I pick that first time, that very first time? It was really interesting because the word just came to me of something that I needed. And so my very first word of the year was peace. And I will say, it wasn't hard to pick. In those quiet times, I really felt like it was something I needed in my life. It was really the way I wanted to feel. And I think that is the truest way to pick a word of the year. Asking yourself, what do I need in my life? And how do I want to feel? I feel like that has been the way I've picked each word of the year. And so I encourage you, if you're interested in trying a word of the year, try answering those questions. Now, in the show notes, I will have a printable that you are free to download that has many different words if you need some inspiration. sometimes it is about just looking at words and thinking, does it answer that question? What do I need in my life and how do I want to feel? So I'll include those in my show notes. And as we're talking about word of the year, I would like to share all of my past words of the year. So starting from 2018, moving all the way through now, let's kind of go through those. I feel like it might be helpful for you to see words that I picked and how I picked them, and then how I use them. Like, what was the purpose of that and how did it work? So I shared already that my first ever word of the year was in 2018, and it was after having a very challenging end of the year of 2017. As I was coming upon January of 2018, I can remember just feeling overwhelmed. And as I went down to do my normal New Year's resolutions, it just didn't feel right. I felt no connection to it. And it just felt almost icky to me. And I started really thinking about, what is it that I want for this year? There was a lot of things happening in my life that I had no control over. And it felt just dysregulating in my body. And I happened to listen to, I think it was a podcast, as somebody else was doing a word of the year. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, that is what I need. I need a word that's going to help me bring direction and focus to what I want to create in my life. So I started thinking about that. What is that? And I got this overwhelming feeling of the word peace. So there was this definition that I came across. Peace. It does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart. And I knew with all of my being that is what I needed. I needed that. I needed that peace. So that being my goal for the year, it really helped be a compass for what I chose to say yes to, for what I chose to do, who I chose to have in my life. It was really that compass. I could go back to thinking, will this, whatever it is I was going to say yes to, will this bring me peace, or will it hold me back from peace? And it helped me make decisions. So my word of the year worked great for 2018. So then 2019 coming around, and I said, yeah, 100%. I'm going to do this word of the year again. It was a great way to create what I wanted. Again, as I thought about, ending my 2018, and it really helped bring peace, what did I want to create for 2019? And again, it was an overwhelming feeling, joy. I wanted joy. And again, this definition, which I feel like really helps. It was a definition that I heard from Marianne Williamson. Joy is what happens to us when we allow ourselves to recognize how good things are. So I used the word joy to create what I wanted in my life. I did things like had a gratitude journal and thought about, what is it that brought me joy today? I planned things that I knew would bring me joy. So if I looked at my calendar, I had things scheduled in there that I knew would be joyful for me. And I really try to let joy shine in all of my relationships. So making sure that I was spending time with people and bringing joy into those moments. All right, so I had my word of joy, or I had my year of joy in 2019, and then 2020, the end of 2019 coming, thinking of 2020 and how I wanted to be in 2020. Again, asking myself, what do I need more of in my life? How do I want to feel going into this year? Now, little did I know 2020 would be quite an interesting year for everybody, but as I was creating my word, I didn't know that, and that was okay because it still worked. My word for 2020 was intentional. So, intentional definition is done with intention or on purpose. So I liked this word because I wanted to stop getting caught up in just being busy. I felt like it's so easy to be pulled in every direction, letting tasks and to-dos take over. So in 2020, what I wanted to do was everything that I did to do with a purpose. Enjoy each moment and making sure that I'm making time for the moments that are important to me. So that's what I did. Again, using the word intention as my guide for what I was doing. So I looked at my relationships. I looked at, family time. I looked at even finances, being creative, fitness. How was I going to make all of those things intentional? So then 2020 came and went, and 2021 was upon us. So as I was coming up to 2021, I thought about, what do I want to bring more of to my life? And how do I want to feel? So my word for 2021 was celebrate. And the definition that I used was to do something enjoyable in order to show that an occasion or event is special. So I really wanted to celebrate the people, events, and the ordinary everyday things that happened. In 2020, I feel like we all learned that we have no idea what's going to happen, but no matter how bad things may seem, there is always something to celebrate. So in 2021, I wanted to celebrate my people. I wanted to celebrate the events that was happening, whether it's a birthday or a holiday or just going to a coffee shop with a friend. I wanted to celebrate simplicity. I wanted to celebrate my hobbies, bring those back to life. So that's what I did. I used the word celebrate in 2021. Then 2022, my word of that year was love. So the definition I used was a feeling of strong affection for and a great interest and pleasure in something. So I kind of picked 5 areas of my life to lead with love. My personal life, my key relationships, my spiritual health, professional goals, and my holistic wellness and physical health. So that year I used my word to build upon those 5 areas that I felt like were really important. So for example, in my personal life, I looked at self-love. How am I doing things that I know will make me feel good? My key relationships. I want to be intentionally connecting with the people that I love. My spiritual health. Love for a purpose-driven life. I really wanted to connect with meaning. Professional goals, aligning my professional life with authentic purpose and productivity. And then the holistic wellness and physical health side, love for my body, making lifestyle choices that keep me healthy. So that is how I used my word in 2022. In 2023, so last year, my word was simplify. And the definition I used was making something simpler or easier to do or understand. So as I used those questions, what do I want more of? How do I want to feel? The things that came up for me were peace, contentment, and joy. And when I think about simplifying, those are feelings that match up. So as I thought about what I wanted to create in 2023, a simplified life, an environment, calmness, more space for creativity, and being debt-free. I went through those areas of my life again to think about how do I want to create simplifying in these areas. And I asked myself, what are some simple solutions? How can I simplify my daily routine? How can I own less? How can I simplify my meals, simplify my wardrobe, cut back on spending, learn how to need less money, set up systems that create more time in my day, and stop over-explaining myself? So that was how I used my word simplify in 2023. So now 2024 is here, and I have a word. The word that, again, it's just a feeling that I got, a very strong feeling, and that word is alignment. So as I look at my life and what I want for 2024, alignment feels very true. So how I will use that in this upcoming year is making sure when I'm saying yes to things that it is in alignment with the way I want to live. And I can look at those 5 areas again and match up the things I'm doing, the goals I'm setting with, does this feel like it's in alignment with me? And it always takes me just a little bit. I feel like I try not to give myself this pressure of by January 1, you have to know your word and you have to know every single detail about how you're going to use it. I really let these first couple weeks play out and feel my word and see how I'm going to use it. So there will be more to come on this year's word. But I feel like some of the lessons that I've learned having a word of a year for the last many years is having a reflection and like assessing how it's working. And I feel like going into this year, I want to do that weekly. And I want to make sure that my word is present in my life. So having a regular practice of looking back and looking forward, of using this word and making it be front and center and that compass for my decision making and all of that. So I do want to have more of a process. I've learned that that is really key. And also I feel like I've gotten better each year at, looking at using it in these specific ways, like having these 5 different areas of my life: personal, key relationships, spiritual health, professional goals, and then holistic wellness. Looking at it and through those lenses has really helped me get more specific and more detailed and be more connected to that word. If this feels like something that you want to do, that you want to try out this year, I would love for you to join me. And a few ways you can do that. Again, I will include that printable that you can look at those different words to see what feels right to you. And then also, I am having a free workshop coming up. It is going to be January 16th, which is a Tuesday, at 7:00 at night, and on Central Standard Time. And it'll be done through Zoom, so you can attend wherever you are. And it is going to be about setting holistic goals for 2024. We'll be looking at those 5 areas that I talked about and how to use that word of your year to set those goals for yourself that feel connected, that feel right. So in this workshop, I'm going to help you get clear on what you want. And then through the process of the workshop, we're going to discover practical ways to make what you want happen. And really, we're going to set you up for success in 2024. Using this word that feels connected for you. So it'll be very personal to your goals and to your feelings and what you want to create for yourself in 2024. So I'd love for you to join me. And I will add a link in the show notes for you to register. It's going to be a free workshop. And I know that you will leave that workshop feeling empowered and ready for whatever comes your way in 2024. I'm so glad that you're here and listening to my podcast. This is something that just, again, feels in alignment with what I want to do and how I want to share. So I'm so glad that you're a part of it. I would love to get feedback on what you thought of this, and have you done a word of the year before, and how do you like it? I appreciate you being here and Again, feel free to provide any feedback that feels right. In the show notes, you're going to find ways to connect with me. I have a weekly newsletter that I send out every Wednesday, and it's a really great way to have practical wellness tips in your inbox every week. Again, I have social media, so Facebook and Instagram are the two places that I am at the most. So I will link in the show notes how to connect with me there. I have a wellness Facebook group that is a really fun thing to be a part of. So that'll be there too. Also, if you want to take it a step further and you're really looking to get more healthy and have more wellness in your life this year, schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. You'll have a whole hour for us to chat and talk about what you want in your life, what you want to create, and then we'll talk about practical ways on how to get there. So you'll leave this consultation with a plan. And from there, if you want to learn more about what it looks like to work with me on a regular basis, we can chat about that too. The schedule will be linked in the show notes, so you can just get right on my calendar and schedule in your free one-on-one consultation. All right, I hope to see you soon in my workshop. And again, reach out, connect. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for being here for episode 2 of Real Life Wellness. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Real Life Wellness Podcast. To stay updated on my latest episodes and wellness insights, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and follow me on social media. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to explore, feel free to reach out. I love hearing from you. If you could, please review or rate this podcast on Apple or Spotify to help more people learn how to make wellness simple.